are more questions than answers. Pictures in my mind but will not show.
Now, as you spoke, I'm sure a lot of people heard so much. And one of the things that you kept saying was that micro-learning is actually not for everyone. And I'm asking myself, how is it that breaking food into chunks is not for everyone? It should be for every one of us. So how is it that you take such a stand and defend it? How do we actually identify in our spaces the individuals that actually can't do micro-learning and the ones that micro-learning can actually serve purposes for?
Okay, so in fact, I would want to look at it from this perspective. So I'm looking at it from what information are you carrying across? Because remember we talked about there must be a specific outcome that you are looking to deliver. And one of the things that I picked on is if you pick and I talked about an entry-level employee, somebody straight from school who has come in, you are looking at building the capacity of that person. So micro-learning will not be, it can complement it, but it will not serve the purpose for building the capacity of that person. Maybe along the journey of the person's life cycle, within work cycle, within the organization, then you get to that point and then you can build on the micro-learning. Micro-learning becomes a day-to-day. But as an entire organization, you can introduce micro-learning, and as I said, we've introduced it for everybody within us. So currently, this year, we launched what we call the Orange Learning Friday. So once a month, every Friday, that's the last Friday of every month, in a matter of 20 minutes, the whole team talks about a learning experience. So at the beginning of the month, the line manager determines what the focus for this month is going to be. So instead of saying, oh, we have team meetings, in that particular time of the Orange Learning Friday, we are only focused on dealing with that topic. So if it's learning about credit or environmental sustainability, responsibility thing, then everybody research about it, or somebody is given the task to go and read about it and come and share the information with the team, and then we discuss it, how, and then situate it within what we are doing. If you're looking at a top executive, somebody within the management committee level, it will be so hard, and my experience over the years, to bring a top executive or a management person from their office to sit in a 2-day training, you won't get them. Half of the time, they will be moving out of the training room, dealing with issues, because they find it so hard, and somebody find it so hard to delegate. So then, micro-learning is going to be fixed for their purpose. So you need to look at which employee, and then you target it for them. And the effectiveness of micro-learning is for a certain level of people, and then for a certain level of people, you need to look at other means of building capacity. But as they grow, then you can introduce. But if you want to share general learning experiences, like maybe talking about current trends within the industry, the market, and all that, that's micro-learning still. But that you can do for everybody within the organization with micro-learning. But for technical skills and some leadership and those kind of strong-hearted things that you need more length time, it's not the way to go to grow that capacity for people. But for general things and all that, you can use micro-learning to drive. Yes, sorry.
I have a question. And you talked about the fact that on the job learning is about 70% of the learning employees undertaking. The question is, how do you get supervisors to be better at managing that process? And there's a follow-up question, which is, how do we as an institution also track how much learning is actually taking place? Because even though it's 70%, it's also sometimes the most difficult part to track. And how do I make sure in my institution or as an L&D person that it is actually taking place and the right outcomes are being, learning outcomes are being achieved?
So the first one, our message is L&D person must design experience on the job. Lines, and then identify which ones are going to be on the job and then which ones are going to be maybe building capacity in the classroom. Then now start working with managers, and you must train managers. The managers must be trained, and then get them and let them report constantly. So we've designed a template that every month there must be some reports as a manager. So in your engagement with your employee on a day-to-day basis, you must be thinking about it. And also, additional thing we've done is with our performance management, the last quarter of every year, the last quarter, which is October to December, is not for discussing performance issues. It's discussing personal development issues with the employee. So we have January to June to March ending. We review objectives that we've set, how are we tracking it and all that. Mid-year, we review the entire half-year performance. Then the last quarter of the year, which is October to December, that period, there is a discussion around personal development about the employee. And it sends a signal to the employee as a manager that I'm concerned about your development. And it must be a conscious effort by managers to constantly, even delegating. Occasionally, as a manager, you should just delegate. And as an organization, you must find a way of enforcing that. Sometimes even leave. So now we have even forced managers to go on leave. So with our leave policy, for instance, once in a year, you must take a 10-day block leave. Nothing, you don't go and come back. And if you don't do that as a manager, or any member of your team doesn't go, a block leave of 10 days minimum, you, the manager, get sanctioned for it. So you lose a percentage of your annual bonus. If bonus is declared, you lose a percentage of it. So when it gets to the last quarter, every manager is concerned about it because they don't want to lose money. Because when you have a set of employees who are not managers, who are not really, that you must use the stick to sometimes force them. And once it becomes a culture within the organization over time, I don't know if I've addressed the second part. The tracking part, which is have a plan, how do you call it, a template. So we use a template, and then as L&D, maybe in terms of offering return on investment data. So we use the Kirkpatrick system to evaluate training, whether formal or informal. So at the end of every 6 months, all the trainings we are every 6 months. So January, June, we've done all the trainings we've done between January and June. We do an evaluation. One of the things we do, look at it from 3 perspectives. So we take feedback from the employee. So we sample some of the employees. We take feedback from the line manager, and the third person is the training sponsor. So every training must have a sponsor, and the sponsor is the head of the department. You must sponsor the training, whether you initiate it or not. You must sponsor, so that it forces the manager to be. Because when we come for the feedback from, we want to find out whether you have had that. And as managers, that discussion about setting objectives, what you are expecting to come out from the training. So when the person goes for training, you discuss before they go. When they come, you must have that discussion. And we have designed templates and templates for them. Because if we've tried it, do it, they don't do it. So now we have to send design templates for them so that we can also have some data and some information that we can analyze and use around it.
Excellent. Any more questions, please? Right there.
Thank you. I should start. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, thank you. You mentioned that we have to start looking at how to use social media to reach out to people to learn. And then you're also saying that for micro-learning, it's not for everyone. So I'm just thinking, if we need to meet the young people because we might not find them learning the way we want to learn, then we also still have to start thinking about how we we design the micro-learning for them as well. That is what I wanted to add.
You are perfectly right. And micro-learning, it's for everyone, but the focus is what maybe I didn't come out clearly on it, that it's not for everyone. At some point, as I said, if I'm a new person and I come to you, I want you to build my capacity. So then you need to send me into more training and build my capacity. So you are looking at technical. But if you are doing sharing like current trends within the market, information, so that as a relationship manager, and I'm using relationship manager because I'm more finance biased than any other, but the current trends with the market, so that when I meet my clients, I can engage them effectively, advise them, so that I know what the interest rates are, the reserve rates are, what is happening in UK, what is happening on the stock market and all that. Those kind of information is best used. Micro-learning is the best form to share, and that one you can do it for everybody. But if you want to build somebody capacity on, let's say, credit skills or relationship management skills, micro-learning will not be my preferred first start. It can come along the line to complement. So, and micro-learning cannot stand alone. You can't use micro-learning alone within an organization. You won't get your people developed, but it has to complement other things that you. So you need to first of all look at your environment. How do you get the people you have to learn? Because one, bear in mind, their time is being competed with social media, and the social media and the internet is drawing them more than you are drawing them. Therefore, you must force and find ways by which you can situate yourself and create your learning experiences so that it becomes appealing to them. So that instead of social media, I can say, this is more appealing. But I'm projecting, learning through social media, I'm projecting that in the next 4 or 5 years, that is where learning is going to happen. That's where learning is going to happen. And we must, as L&D professionals, start thinking and preparing ourselves for it, because it's going to come there.
I wanted to share an experience on this social. We have an agent network, a nationwide agent network. At the last count, we are over 3,000. These are all based in rural and peri-urban areas, and they're typically young persons. The typical profile is male in his early 20s, and typically pursuing some degree course, but also working as an agent. Now, one of the things that we tried out that worked really well was we were trying out stuff on TikTok, which is now all the craze. And one of the issues we had was teaching ethics, the ethics of selling financial products. So what we did was we created a competition, asking them to come together as 2 or 3 persons and create skits on TikTok about the ethics. Now, the competition meant we got a lot of them involved in planning a skit and then coming out with the skit. And for a price of about 1,000 CDs, we got too many videos that that were about, and it was fun for them too. So it's I don't think you can apply to the more technical ways of learning, the more technical aspects, but I felt that this could illustrate how we've been able to use TikTok to create, and the best part was that they created the content. It was not even us bringing in professionals to create content. They created the content. In creating the content, it forced them to think about the issues of ethics and come up with their own skit. And others would look at it because it's a skit by people that you know or are in the same experience. So I thought this might be a really good example of micro-learning, informal, social media, and extremely interactive. And technology, yes.
And in creating the content, they will have learned, because
I assure you they knew how to create the content. They didn't need the competition to create the TikTok videos.
Thank you. I think we have one more question there.
Yeah, thank you. I want to relate to the supervisor issue that Mr. Jackson put across. I know that performance management can be used to direct an individual's output or we'll call it output production. So I'm asking myself, is it possible that the supervisor's KPIs, key performance indicators, can be linked to this yes, so that, because often if it's not linked, they don't find it attractive enough or motivating enough to give out that information. Already he's afraid the person he's training is coming to take his job, and you want to make it easier for him to lose his job, his or her job, then it's not going to help. Thank you.
I think so, because for instance, Doc during his presentation talked about having backup. And that's one of job rotation. The whole essence of job rotation is to also have backup. So once you incorporate it within their KPIs, and as he said, managers we are all difficult. We are all difficult. I won't say managers are difficult because I'm also a manager. We are all difficult, and sometimes getting learning because the market is hard. Getting business lines and meeting your revenues, you go on performance review meetings and everybody is hitting you back. You don't have the time to think about personal development, but the mindset must shift, because the people are the ones that are going to generate the numbers. One of my former managers told me, I'm your manager. My job is to build your capacity, because I don't do the work. You go to and this MD will tell you, you do the work. When the glory comes, I take the glory. When the fall comes, you take the fall. So therefore, whatever I have to do to make sure that you do it to give me that glory, I will do it. So it's a mindset that we need to have our managers get. So, and whatever it takes, it's a culture you need to build, and it will take time. So once you start with incorporating it within your KPIs, over time they get used to it, and then you can just start and becomes a business as usual as you go along. Yeah.
Sorry, I have to come over. Okay. My name is Diane Kweku. I am a digital strategist, so I work in digital marketing, and so I work with a lot of social media, website development, and so this conversation is actually very relevant to me. I wanted to add, you said that social media, I think that one thing that we're getting wrong about social media is that we see it as a place of entertainment. And so whilst we're all sitting here, I bet you have the perspective that we just go on there to just entertain ourselves and then just have some fun. But I do most of my learning on social media, especially on TikTok, because that's where you can consume information faster, you can learn faster. To me, TikTok has been one of the best platforms because YouTube essentially just makes everything very long. Social media tells you, TikTok tells you how you can do it fast. So essentially, the conversation about social media shouldn't necessarily be looking at the entertainment part of it, but also how you can leverage social media for your brand, for your employees. And I've seen a lot of brands that are hopping on the wagon of social media and trying to use that to get people's attention, to learn some certain specific things that they want them to know, and also sell their services, right? I would talk from the perspective of having a non-profit where we're educating people about the SDGs. And one of the things that we came across was, the people that we're targeting are usually on social media. And when we try and organize something like this to get them to come in, they don't really have the interest. So how do we take this to them? So we decided that Twitter is a big thing. People go on Twitter to chat a lot. That's where all the trends happen. When you see the Fix the Country campaign and everything, it started from Twitter. So we decided that, okay, well, we're going to go the same way. And so we started a hashtag, and we were educating people on climate change. And we got so many people talking about climate change for that day that it was trending. And so even people that did not know about climate change would just use the hashtags so that they can be part of the trends. Because when you're part of the trends, you get seen. And people come to your page and come and see what you do. So social media is actually a very relevant conversation when we talk about learning. And I think that it's high time that we redefine what learning is, because some of us, and so this is actually a very relevant conversation that I feel that everyone has to jump on the wagon, because technology is going to be the next big thing, and it already is here. And so we have to find a way to leverage technology for ourselves. Thank you.
The mindset is that social media is a distraction for the generation we're working with as an organization, and as I said, it's going to happen. Learning is going to shift. Corporate learning is going to shift into that. But as corporate people, we are also mindful of the time people spend on these applications as a training, especially during the working hours. So we need to differentiate. But it's also spot on. It's there, it is come to stay, and how we leverage on the right way, how we leverage on it to be able to get the best out of people and get into the situation. I'm sure all of our organizations, apart from probably you, who are using digital marketing, all the social media have been run by our IT staff. As a organization, that was happening at some point. Because once you start getting people and pushing learning within their space as an organization, you can now start looking at bringing people in. But it takes a lot of engineering and to do that monitoring, so that people don't drift away from using it for the purpose rather than just using it for entertainment as a platform.
It's a good conversation and a good point to be made there, and it's going to get all of us thinking. But it's here to see, technology is here to see, it's a game changer with organizations. We must all embrace it and see how much we can get our people better at what we do on a day-to-day basis.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Kweku. So just quickly, as you spoke, you also mentioned conversation around revenue. Now, we all know that tech is not cheap. At least that's what I like to believe. So how can we be able to position ourselves such that organizations can invest in micro-learning, especially for very large organizations where the demography spreads from quite deep in terms of the generations that we have, the baby boomers, etc. How do you actually make room for that kind of investment so that at the end we have everyone feeling included in that career development plan?
Money is always a big issue. Getting money for management for training is always a big issue. In my short slide in the corporate environment, training is the first budget cut. Whenever the economy gets hard, the financial gets hard, using the training budget. Currently budgeting for 2023, and I'm looking at the budget I had last year, the budget I'm going to have this year. I had one manager sending a request yesterday. Said, can you use $80,000 for you to use so. What about the $80,000? Equivalent of $900,000. Are you sure? So organizations first of all, learning is not cheap. And that's the mindset organization and then also as L&D professionals to make that argument. And but you can only make that argument by having data. I mean, data speaks for you. When you get into the world, the financial person comes in and you're talking about numbers, 10 of the equities, 10 of the cost to income ratio. That's what we are talking about. As agents, because you do the world when you're meeting. Oh, we have training this level of people. What is that training to go to the bottom line? So you must having that conversation. But for you to go there, we are showing the return on investment figure. Yes. It's so difficult quantifying learning contribution to the revenue. It's so difficult. Look, there are so many businesses out there. You can't, because anything can change the revenue line. How do you find with research and engage, have data, speak to the people, find out what you're doing, and all that strategy. But once you do that, you get apart from that. Before you get to that level, technology applications that are online, most of them are free. Most of them talk about the books and something for instance. They are free or only free. So there's an application that we use for our management and then most people, it's what get abstract. It's called get abstract. It's a book summary. You can get individual subscription or corporate subscription. If you don't have the individual subscription about last year it was about $100 for 12 months. $100 for 12 months. If you don't want 12 months, you don't want 1 year, you can do monthly. As a way, if you don't have money, you do subscribe. You get that application. The good thing is that all the apps, there's systems you can download the PDF. So you don't need to get it for all every employee. Or you just one, download the PDF, the which is 2-3 pages, and then separate it to people. And then you do the learning experience around it. Kahoot, which is using it for training or even team engagement and all that. is about $50. So, and they have mental data free. Mental data free. So there's so many applications if you go online, and that's one thing. People don't know how to search. Use the technology, they don't want to search for information. People don't know. Meaning, if you tell me something I don't know, I'll tell them, give me a second. I'll go, I'll watch it. How do you do? A lot of things will come. I just have to spend them and catch one. And once I get there, you're talking about saying anything, that's the vision in my life. So that's one of the using cheap things, application online, free, to start the discussion. That's what you go on, you meeting, and you can choose and get it from.
Excellent. So perhaps my last question, I have a lot of them that we are working behind at the time. How do you actually get people in your space to accept the education methods of learning? Because it's all new to certain generation and all up for another generation. And so you're trying to do something which is company-wide. How do you actually go about this conversation?
That's a very question. I'm not sure if I have the answer to this question, but I'm going to try and probably easy. One, I made mention of understanding your generational mix within the organization. That's key. Once you understand the kind of generational mix you have within the organization, design your learning for each one of them separately. Some will not access them, so you need to adjust. If you have a lot more millennial generation, Z generation, Y within the organization, gamification, you don't need to struggle. It's an easy system. But for the baby boomers, gamification is not going to improve for them. They will struggle to buy. But for millennials coming down, almost everybody, young people, have games. You go on their mobile phones, you have game applications, they are playing games. And you are getting that they teach to have to learn. So that's one of the things. And so understanding the generational is the key to the. If you are going to have an organization where a lot more people are in that sense, focus on attention on education on that side. And then find a different way of reaching out to the individuals so that you don't also feel left out. Other than you switch everything is on the generation, you lose it. But remember, we have also got to have the experience that are going to be and what will be impact and pass on the knowledge to these ones. So you need to find ways of carrying them along and maybe get them to other people to try and individuals to help them appreciate and using the emotions of them as teaching and everybody consists and have the I think that's what I'm not sure it's a perfect response, but yes, I think so. You have to come here.
Okay, just a short question. Wanted to ask if you can share some cases where gamification is used for learning. Some typical cases.
Yes. So, a couple of years ago, I was looking at using, and there are applications like that online, where if you were looking for example, when you're looking at money things, you join money things, and you're looking at, because of my way in bank, there is, I heard of this application that is for simulating banking classification, where you put people in, you give them money online, and they run a bank. So I'm training them and everything. teaching them, taking them to academy and everything, and I'm talking to and they spend money, give them a bank online. So they become CEOs of those banks. It's an application and it's a KD. So they are giving capital employees. So it brings about leaders, credit, education, money, and everything, and they are managing the bank with market, so AI closely with a downside in the market, everything, and it's a KD. So they have and then the ones that post profits, and then their financial good, and then the system will run financial analysis, financial statement review, and then brings it out and put it across. The system will tell you what are the strengths, what are the weaknesses, it's a KD. In training, if you are running training activity, I talked about Kahoot, I talked about Medita. These are gaining activities, applications that we can use. Everybody does it on and then when you are getting training, you can come and say, what did you learn yesterday? Instead of teaching them what did you learn yesterday, this can everybody is already completing questions. And then question 1 is roses. Everybody, so the first key in the answer is displayed on the screen, and then everybody sees it. Those who are around it, tell them what the right answer, and the system will analyze it and give you. And these are real-time applications. So there are a lot of them online. Most of them are free. Most of them are free. Many teachers used to take the feedback from participants in training activity. You can post activities for them, and then they can discuss, put their feedback on it. The application is how you desire to support your work, and these are also the you can even have a free trial. So if you don't want to pay for it, whenever you are doing training, just make a free trial. When you finish, don't do it. You get it. You get this. It's wasted things. But when you have it, you can always have. Or the people you also subscribe, you lose previous data. And remember, data is the key to go now. So you at least invest in 1% can have access, and the rest, and then you can use it for your process as well. So those are some of the things out there. There are so many things to go online, and just put it on Google or put it on YouTube. You will get some of these. People talk about some of them are even looking for organizations, especially in Africa, to try and be a South Africa, to be a South Africa for them, as well as help drive their breakthrough to the African market. So as organizations, you can always reach out to some of these people as well. And then blending with e-learning platforms as well as organizations.
Right, so we have a question from online from Emmanuel John Perry. It says, can you please provide a list of some of these free online resources?
I think in my slide, I don't know if you can share the slide. There are some, the one that has the charts. I've posted some of these ones that I'm using that I can really, yes, no. I think if you go forward, yes, this one. Yes, so a lot of us I'm sure have seen Ologo. Ologo is a language app. You have it on your phone. It's a learning application, and it's a gaming application too. So Ologo is one. Engagement is a complement to Mentimeter. Yes. So it's used for gaming activities as well. Q training is also a gaming application. Kahoot is also a gaming application. Get abstract is also a gaming app. All organizations, most of them, you get a free version, but if you can. And you can either subscribe as a corporate organization or as an individual. So if your organization works for you, spend time investing in yourself. Invest in yourself as an individual. It's really important. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Kweku. Come on,